Micro brews, dude.
Dude. Craft Brews and Casual Conversations joined with me on the show today. Punk rocker, musician. He's got a good history in the world of music. Geoff Palmer joins the show. How you doing, man?
Just opening a beer. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. What you drinking?
Today, that's what I figured. I should have one ready to go, based on your other episodes. So today, I got a Lakefront Brewery,
Hell yeah.
the dive beer. So,
Okay.
giving that one a go. I don't know if you know that brewery. Yeah, they're cool, and I got into them. The guy from the band, the Chinese Telephones, his name is Andy Junk. He's the bass player. He works there, and they did a beer for him a few years ago, which is
hell yeah,
pretty cool. Yeah, and it has this funny story. I'll send you a link to it later. That I actually got a bottle of it over here. It's just called Junk, but it had, I think, it was some cherries in it because Door County and up north.
Yeah.
But there was something about the pressure of it, so some of them started to explode, so they recalled them all. Yeah. And there's this big article. It's junk beer that might explode or something.
That's awesome.
So it's so fitting for a punk dude to have a beer named after him that gets recalled because it could explode.
Right.
So it's pretty dope.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into a lot of the stuff, I'm drinking, and I think this is the first time actually ever on the show I'm drinking a Pabst Blue Ribbon, and I gotta say it's probably I think Pabst is disgusting. I've thought Pabst is disgusting for a long time. I used to think Miller Lite was also really, really gross until one day I was in my fridge and there was nothing but Miller Lite, and I was like, I'm gonna try one, and I was like, oh, it's actually not that bad. So it's been probably 10 years, honestly, probably 10 or more years since I've had a Pabst Blue Ribbon. So I'm gonna see if my taste buds have evolved in my decrepit state, and maybe it'll be a little better. I know it's a punk rock beer, but I've never liked it.
That's totally fair. I think my palate has expanded over the years, and I kind of started to stray away from the PBR. But a lot of times, I could never really get fully away from it because being in a small scale band, right. The big perks that we get is a couple of drink tickets, and it's usually for a draft PBR. But since I've been living out here, a lot of times now it's hams, which I think is much better, even though PBR is also, local and we should be proud of it. But right. I think hams is a little better.
Yeah.
But of course, if I'm at a barbecue or something too, and there's PBR, I'll happily dig in.
Absolutely. How long have you been in Wisconsin?
About 2.5 years now.
Okay, so pretty fresh to the Midwest still, but you grew up on the East Coast.
Yeah, New Hampshire is where I grew up, but I'd always travel a lot with bands and just for fun and stuff. So I'd been out to the Midwest a lot, anyways. So it wasn't a crazy culture shock. I really love it here. It's nice and relaxing. Great beers everywhere, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know I've mentioned this before, but they always release the drunkest cities in America.
Yeah, totally.
You look at Wisconsin, we're pretty drunk, but we also have not it's not a bad it is a bad thing, but it's also we have a ton of different great quality beers which I enjoy. So I love the state of Wisconsin. It's beautiful. I've never really been on the East Coast too much. I've been to Florida. That's as east as I've been. So that's it.
We don't count that.
Right. Yeah. I'd like to get out to Boston, New York and kind of experience that a little bit, because the East Coast has a thrive, or I guess I don't know much about it anymore, but it had a thriving punk scene back in the day, which you were a part of. Yeah, give a little bit of your history, because I learned you've played in bands like the Queers, the Guts, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so growing up in New Hampshire, like you said, there was and still is, and just real quick before I guess I talk about me, you definitely should visit the East Coast and the New England area. The history is awesome there. Boston's a super beautiful city to go and just check out and walk around and everything. And there's still a very active music scene there. But so I was growing up a long time ago. I lived in New Hampshire, in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and there was a little club there that would always get kind of all the bigger touring bands on off nights. It was called the
Okay.
Elvis Room. So like, and it was just, back the time that there was just so many awesome bands always on the road. And then in that town, like Joe King from the Queers lived there. Albar
Yep.
was from, at the time, the Bruisers, because they're all from there.
Mm-hmm.
And then even when he started with the Dropkicks, he still lived there. And then this band I really loved called Sinkhole is from New Hampshire too. They were from a few towns over, but the guy from Sinkhole was a booking agent at the Elvis Room place. So just between him and like Joe King and Al, there was just an insane amount of bands that would just be coming through town constantly.
Hell yeah.
So it was super awesome. So then I started playing in a band. My first band was called the Useless Fucks. I played drums.
Nice.
So I would just be out like all the time there, and we started meeting people. So then we'd be like, oh, cool. Like we'd do shows up here and then just take a weekend trip and start going to, New York or just or further south or further east, and meeting people. Yeah. And then just through that, you just kind of know people, and then different bands need a guitar player for tour, so I would just kind of always take advantage of opportunities and say yeah and just go and do it. And then I started playing with the Nobodies, who were from Colorado, because I had met them in New Hampshire. They needed a guitar player, and then through that met tons of people. Same, just hanging out, networking, playing. It was just super fun time from like, I don't know, 96 up until like, the mid 2000s. Really, it was awesome.
That's fucking sweet. And then the Nobodies are a lot of fun too. They're a great band.
Yeah, totally. And I've like fell in love with Colorado when I was out there. I was also like a huge All fan and Drag the River and stuff. So then getting to kind of like be around, because everybody out there is like friends with that circle of people. So then kind of getting to know people in that circle was super cool, especially at a young age too. So
yeah, absolutely. And I even like, you say you played in a lot of bands. Everybody always needs like a touring guitar player. Like even at so I was at the show in Madison earlier I think in June with the Dopamines and the Dark I drank way too much. I was like, I did too. I had a great time, but I noticed like, the guitar player in Chinese Telephones also playing with you on stage, and then the drummer of Direct Hit is drumming for Chinese Telephone. So it's like all these guys are collectively kind of bouncing back and forth, which I think is pretty sweet.
Totally. I mean, kind of in any scene, I guess, right? It's like, especially as you get older, people start to not be interested and or get jobs, which I also have a job and and families and stuff, but they just either lose interest or they're like forced out of it and pretend to not miss it, even though they do. So then it gets harder, and I think that's when you start to even find more of the crossover with everybody playing in each other's bands. But yeah, like moving out here, I had known Dan. He's the guitar player that you were referencing from the Chinese Telephones. I've known him for a wicked long time. So as soon as I moved out here, he's like, if you like want to start a band or need somebody, let me know. I'd love to play. And then he plays and does his own stuff too. So I play guitar for him sometimes.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And Madison's a really great place too for bands. Like the venues are aplenty. You're not far from Milwaukee. And it's like, dude, it's a great scene.
I know, like that's the thing. Like I'm in no way talking smack about New England. It's a beautiful place. Everyone should go there. Love it. Happy that that's where my original roots are from. But like there too, like you can in New Hampshire at least, you can get to Boston. But then the next kind of biggest market or scene would be going down to Western Mass. Had a little bit going on, but it would really be New York, which is give or take about 5 hours. Or you could get up to Canada, which is another about 5 hours, depending on like where you are. But here in an hour, I can be in Milwaukee. In like 2 hours, we have Chicago. 4 hours, there's Minneapolis. Like, an hour and a half, 2 hours, there's Green Bay. And then all these other towns in between. Like you could really do like a 4-day, like tour
Right.
around in this region and only be driving like 3-4 hours a day. It's
Right.
awesome. Yeah, and everyone's just like really friendly. The music scene in Madison has just been really like warm and accepting. People are just chill. There's awesome bands, and yeah, like you said, a good amount of clubs that book small bands and let
Mhm.
people do shows. Super cool.
Yeah, and it's super important too because I mean it's cool like to have a place like High Noon or the Majestic. I love the Majestic. That's one of my favorite venues. I've seen I've seen the gambit of bands: Frank Turner, Against Me,
Hell yeah.
Mass Intruder, and all that. Like all have had shows at the Majestic, which is I would say somewhat comparable to High Noon where
Totally.
you played, and it's yeah, it's just awesome to. And then over time they get to the Sylvie and all that kind of stuff too, which is also a great place, but. I really like love the small atmospheres and like the bonding and everything that you can do because you can really talk to anybody in those small venues and no one's like gonna I like me, I was a drunken buffoon and everyone was really nice to me. Like
I know, it's amazing. I love it
yeah.
because everyone else is like that too. Oh, speaking of, yeah, you just mentioned Against Me. I'm bummed. I'm out of town this weekend, but I think it's either
Yeah.
Friday or Saturday. Laura Jane Grace is at the Sylvie,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw them post they were going to be doing some Against Me songs and different stuff, and I was like, oh god damn it, that would be so cool to see. And like Mikey Erg's drumming for them
Yep.
and stuff too, which is super rad.
Yeah. They've I saw her one band one time, the Devouring Mothers. They played at the Majestic, and they played a
Yep,
handful of Against Me songs too, which is really awesome. Yeah,
awesome.
unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. I'll be in Minneapolis on that day, so
Oh, very cool.
yeah, it'll still be fun, but yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. So do you get to go see a lot of bands now, living in an area where a lot of musicians come
I
and go? Or is
do.
it,
Yeah, it's like really since we moved here, I kind of like not that I had ever lost interest in it, but it would be like I just wouldn't feel like necessarily after work like driving all the way to Boston to see just like on a Tuesday night a show, even though I really wanted to.
right?
It would be scattered when I would go and do it. But here I can ride my bike downtown in like 15 minutes and
Mm.
like go to a show. There's like, and Mickey's, the shows don't start till 10. So like I can even just like take a nap
Yeah,
and have a beer at home and then go down and see a band for a couple hours and come back home. So I've been seeing like so many bands. It's awesome.
hell
I
yeah,
love
man.
it.
Have you like I guess have you from bands that are like local to Wisconsin? Do you see like a difference? Because everyone's always, like they always say the Midwest emo scene or whatever is different than whatever this emo scene in the world of punk.
Yeah.
But like, do
I,
you notice a
I'm not,
difference?
I don't think in the world of punk I notice it. I guess, and I don't listen to emo enough. I'm not opposed to it, but
Right.
to really like pick up on um, that, I know exactly what you're referencing. But yeah, I haven't picked up on it. It just I think it's just there's different in different regions of the country. It's just more about the cultural difference within the region, how people act is more like I think what I pick up on, and I just find like shows out here, and also like I felt a lot in the Colorado area, just a little more like laid back
Hmm.
and chill. There's obviously still like and everybody should you want your band to do good and take yourself seriously, but it's not as like like standoffish as much. People just kind of seem a little more down to work together and
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, as far as the music, there's a lot of kick-ass bands, and yeah, I don't feel like this Midwest sound.
Yeah.
I haven't really noticed it. Maybe just because also the Midwest sound got so popular that it was spilling out over into
Hmm.
bands that I liked and stuff in New England anyways, so it felt pretty normal.
Yeah. Have you felt so like when I guess we can start. When did you decide to kind of pick up and do your own thing, a solo record?
Yeah, so I was doing the band The Guts, and then we just kind of stopped playing. And then I started a band called The Connection. We are like a kind of a garage rock and roll band
Mhm.
with some of my buddies from back in New England. And we were super active and touring all the time for, I don't know, a good like 4 or 5 years. And then one of the guys had a kid and just kind of it slowed down. which is totally normal and fine.
Right.
But I just still wanted to keep playing. And I had always had like other songs that I was writing that weren't necessarily, not that they wouldn't have fit with the band, but I pictured them being a little more raw and punk feeling or faster. So I just kind of started using that time to be like, oh, well, I'll just like get together with some people. And so I started recording, and then Stardom Records reached out and were like, oh, I really like these random singles you're putting out. Why don't we work on doing an album? So then I just did an album, and then that's just kind of kept doing it, because then I would just get opportunities to like play different festivals and, you know, and tour, because I'm not like looking to be out on the road working like all the time. I like being able to, like, for vacation, like go away for like a week and do shows, or if a cool opportunity comes up, like build like something cool around it. But I'm not actively like looking to be, you know, sleeping in a van for months on end.
Right. And like, you know, when I was in high school and getting into the world of punk and seeing all these bands, and then going to the Warped Tour and that, and of course all my friends are like, we gotta start a band. So you're in 6,000 bands with, and then I always was like, I want to be this guy. I want to be the big traveling musician and all that shit. And then now, you know, I'm 34, and I'm like, half the time, like when I see a start time for a show at 8 p.m., I'm like, fuck, that's late. Like,
yeah. I totally know the feeling. But then I get like that, but then that's just like the lazy part of me that I try to like push aside, because I do also just really enjoy it, right? So then once I've just gotten over the hurdle of being like, I'm gonna go downtown and go down and like have a beer and then see somebody and just start talking, then it's like, yeah, cool, that's why I do this. And the band starts playing and you just feel great, you know?
Yeah, that was, I mean, summertime kind of awards me more free time. I don't work much during the summer.
Awesome.
I'm full time in the world of education, so we get the summer times off, which is nice. I do some radio on the side as well, but that's like an hour a day.
DJing, right? Did I hear you mention that?
Yeah, DJ weddings. Cool. Oh yes, that's like I do a lot for I need money.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, who doesn't? There's nothing wrong with side hustles, dude. Yeah. Like I've actually just been like, since we moved here, we've had like so much random stuff kind of just around, and like music stuff that I just haven't used. Like I was looking at a guitar, and I had a PA speaker and some other stuff that I'm like, I haven't, and an amp too. I was like, I haven't plugged this in since we lived here, or even thought about it.
Yeah.
And like these and stuff. And then I was like trying to think the last time we even like played the guitar, and I was like, it was at least a couple years before we even moved. So I was like, why is this sitting around taking up room? So we just started going through, and then we found this like my girlfriend's parents for Christmas, like forever ago, gave us like a carpet cleaner. It's still brand new in the box. We moved it from New Hampshire all the way out here. Now it's been sitting unopened in the garage out here for 2.5 years. I'm like, let's just like, we just started listing shit.
Yeah.
And people are just like writing, like 4 people were over the house today buying random shit.
Yeah.
That like, I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. It feels good, like getting rid of stuff. And then I'm also like getting a little stack of cash, you know, where it can not even having to work extra, being like, okay, now I want a new guitar. Like, what do I want to replace the old stuff with? But I'd rather get rid of like 10 things and have one newer.
Right, for sure.
That I like. But yes, it's like, I was like, whoa, can I turn this into a side hustle? But then I was like, I'll eventually run out of stuff to sell.
Right. I mean, so like doing all that extra work for me is like, it awards me with a little bit of extra money. And then I was like, I told myself, I was like, I'm going to go to more shows this summer. I used to, me and my friends, we'd be at the Rave in Milwaukee, or like sometimes we even went down to Chicago for a night and would drive back, and we'd go to work the next day at 6 a.m. And it was like, it was no thing. And I was like, I want to get back to that a little bit. So that's, you know, your show was the first one of the summer at High Noon. I went to
excellent choice.
Yeah, I agree. It was a really fun show. And I saw it was your album release show, and I was like, I'm gonna listen to these new tunes, and I really dug them. I learned the EP and everything like that in a couple days. I was like, yeah, this is groovy. I really dug it. It, you know, it kind of gave me like that, I guess, like back in the day, a little bit of like a of a East Coast punk sound. I would say, a little Ramones-esque here and there sometimes, and then I was like, I like this a lot. So
awesome.
yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that's like just about having fun, and I think you kind of hit it. I guess maybe it's a New England sound, but yeah, just definitely I can't really shake. Like I love listening to all kinds of music, and I try to like I don't want to become like that older person that's pigeonholed and is just
sure.
like there's nothing good anymore. Like it was only good when I was like in the 90s. And it's like, of course I still love that stuff. There's like part nostalgia, but also when I put those records on, I still feel the same excitement that I felt when I was a kid. So like I still honestly like it, and I just like that kind of music, but I also still find in a lot of enjoyment in even outside of the punk world. Like there's so much good modern music.
Yeah,
like
there really is,
being put out by people of all ages. Like I'm not even looking at like what age group they're in, but I really get annoyed when I hear people that I've like grown up with or know, or just on other podcasts, or just people talking, and they're like, yeah, it's not like it used to be. Like, and I get that, and sometimes I just try to stop myself from saying it, but I fall into saying that. I guess it's the nostalgia part where, but then I'm like, whoa, shit, there's just as many shows going on right now in this town that I live in as there was when I was a kid. And I'm always like, there was so much happening then. It's like still happening. You just have to like be there and go find it.
Yeah. And I mean, I saw last week, I went to Milwaukee, and I saw Heart Attack Man and the Dirty Nil, and they played with a band called Carpool, which I actually knew one of their songs. They started playing. I was like, "Holy shit! I know this one."
Awesome.
And it was fun. A couple of my friends, like, for whatever reason, they don't like Heart Attack Man. I was like, I think they're fun. Like, I think they're a pretty great band, and I love the Dirty Nil. He was on the show. Luke was on the show not that long ago, so and they sound so fucking good. But the new stuff is here, and like I had to get the first time I saw Heart Attack Man, it was at X-Ray Arcade. And I was definitely one of the oldest people in the room. I was like, this is new territory for me, because I was always the young kid. But now, like,
yes.
But then I saw them again, and I was like, all right, there's a little more, like, there's younger people, there's older people, there's people in the middle. And I was like, this is good. This is what I like to see. It was awesome.
I saw that you had the Dirty Nil on. I love them too. Like that a few years ago, I might have been on like Faction Punk or Sirius XM or a playlist, but I had heard that Doom Boy song, and I was like, what is this song? This is like fucking awesome. So then I ended up finding the record, and I got it, and I love them. And then recently, like a couple months ago, I was on a work trip. I think it was Texas, or it might have been, I don't think it was Colorado. I think it was it was in Indianapolis, because I remember the Indianapolis 500 Speedway, seeing it from the highway. So I was in Indianapolis, and if I'm on a work trip, I'm always kind of looking around to see if there's anything going on. And I saw that they were playing, so I just like got in an Uber and went down. And I got hammered. I was just by myself pounding beers, but they were so fucking good.
Yeah, they are,
and they looked so cool. He had this like cool like polka dot buttoned up shirt on.
Oh, sure.
And like the kind of old 70s guitar cord that looks like remember landline phones with the spiral cord?
Yep, he still has that. Yep.
Dude, I would hope so. It was this year, I think.
Okay.
So it wasn't too long ago, but they just fucking crushed it.
Yeah, they sound great.
They totally do. It's awesome. So yeah, I was pumped to see that you had gotten them on your podcast too. Congrats.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. For just a guy who records in his living room and has a little bit of broadcasting stuff, I'm very fortunate to have a lot of great bands. I was super excited to have you on too, because I really do enjoy your music. It's fun, and I've noticed like your solo records, you've kind of hammered them out. You've got a good amount of solo stuff. How often are you writing music? Is it like a daily practice, or is it sit down and make some music?
Yeah, I think it's a mix. Like I always just play guitar, but not like serious. I'm not like working on scales or whatever. I just enjoy it. Like not many days go by that I don't just at least kind of like strum some chords or whatever, or get together since I moved here, it's really cool. Like the drummer Paul and the bass player Tyler, they live in town, and they also just love to play and like hang out. So it's easy to get together. We live like, less than 10 minutes from each other. And I
Okay.
have kind of all the gear just in my basement. So it's easy to hang out and have some beers and play. So, but as far as songs, like I'll get an idea. Sometimes I'll write more. I'll be like really into like making demos. And then other times I kind of just like, not like purposely, but just get over that run. And then I'm just like, learning a random song I just heard on the radio or something, or just like having practice to work on ideas that I'd kind of started demoing out. But I kind of just like, it's not like it has to be, but I like just doing a release every year. I just think it looks like cool. Like it's just like for me, like it looks cool, like looking back, like just being like, oh yeah, cool, every year I made something happen, whether even if it's just like a holiday single or just an EP or like a full record, or a live record. But like later when I look at like what I've done through all the bands, it's pretty much something every year, and I'm like, yeah, cool. It's like, because it's also, I don't know what I would do that's like my hobby. Like some people bowl or play
Right.
darts or like, have a wood shop in their garage, and that's all super cool. I've just never gotten into any other real hobbies,
Right.
So it's like, I would feel, I think, totally lost if for some reason I don't even know how you would give it up. Like it's just something you
Right.
do, right? It's
And
fun.
it
feels rewarding. Like, actually, yeah, one of the episodes of your guys' podcast, you guys were talking about something in like, I don't know if it was you, but maybe you were like, oh, like I just don't want to lose that like childhood like joy or whatever, when you get beaten down by life. And I just kind of feel like when I'm listening to a record I really like, or like when I'm playing like, in the band or rehearsing, and I'm just like, for a second, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right. Like I just love this. It just feels good.
Yeah.
And you just don't ever want to lose something that brings you that like moment of all the stress is gone and you're just like happy.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. The release of it. And just like not taking yourself too seriously either, but like being serious enough to be like, cool, I know that we can write decent songs and we're good players, so it shouldn't be rocket science to get in the studio and record some good songs and know that they're good and do it to a level that it's like professional, but not be like too serious. You have to like want to do it and have fun, so it's not work. And it's never felt like work. It's never been a struggle. And I think if it was a struggle to like get a session together, get a band together, even like for a show, I'd rather like not do the show or just do something else. We're not gonna like, when you start like pushing and bending to make something work, I think that's when you like lose the fun, and it's just not cool for anybody, even the listeners, right?
Yeah, you can tell. Like, I've been to shows before where I've seen bands, and I've kind of like left disappointed because I'm just like, none of these fucking dudes wanted to be here. Like, like
you can tell, right?
Yeah,
like,
and it was a real bummer, especially like the one band in particular. I don't want to say who it is. I can tell you later.
Fine.
But I was like super pumped because I was like, these fuckers are on Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Like I grew up on, so you can narrow it down maybe. But I saw them and then I was just like, oh, this is disappointing. Like I don't think any of these guys really want to be here. And then eventually I saw them again and it was a different story. And I was like, all right, you've redeemed yourself. But yeah,
very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bummer. And that's the thing about music too. And it's, my wife always says, cause like a song will come on a radio from a band and goes like, oh yeah, I saw these guys this day. And it's like, I can just pull out random venues, random, like, oh yeah, they opened with this song on this, the first time I saw them. And then the third time and she's like, how do you, like, you rarely can remember like what you ate for breakfast in the morning. Like, how do you pull out this information? I was like, it's just the power of music. Like you can throw on, I could throw on in an Against Me track, or I could even throw on one of your songs. Cause like when I was listening to your latest EP, I was mowing the lawn and I remember that cause I was like jamming while just, cutting the grass and like getting ready for the show and everything. So it's like music really has that power of like, can just transport you back in time to high school where, so there is that nostalgia thing, but also that's just what I love about it too. And then you go to the show and relive it all. It's so fun.
Yep. and it, like, I feel like that helps keep people like feeling like young and excited and have, something like within music too, like to look forward to. It's like, not, this is probably insanely cheesy, but like there's that Rancid line, like, right when I got the music, I got a place to go.
Yeah,
It's kind of
absolutely.
like, I mean, for him, I think it was more, life or death kind of. When I got the music, I got a
Sure.
place to go. But like in general, I kind of feel like that. Like even moving here, like it was just immediately just started going out to shows, and then that's how I just started making friends. It's
Yeah.
like anywhere, like even like I said, when I'm on a work trip, it's like where I'll just find a show and go to a show, and I just feel comfortable even if I don't know anybody, and at home, because it's an environment I'm happy in and
Hmm.
feel alive there. But also, you were saying how you remember hearing my new EP because you were mowing the lawn. So I'm like, to you, do you ever make these weird little mental markers where some records just like feel like a summer album or
Yeah.
feel like a winter album, even if it doesn't have to coincide when the actual release was? There could be a record that came out in the summer, but to me, the first time I heard it was in the dead of winter, so it always has this different
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
to me.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, there was songs like in high school. I was all over the place with music. I listened to, I graduated in 2009, so I'm in the peak emo scene. There's like I got friends who love like the screamo stuff. I got friends who are loving the punk stuff, the ska stuff. So I was like I gravitated more towards ska and punk, but I also went to all these other shows. So like I remember like I would sneak out at night. I would climb out of my basement window, and then I'm like, it's 2 a.m. and I'm bumping music, but it's like I can't be too loud, so I gotta throw on some quieter stuff. But yeah, I just remember like like when I hear it, I'm like, this is a middle of the night song driving on a highway where
Yes.
you're in fear that your mother is gonna call you because she saw you were gone. So like, yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, definitely like this summer again, I've been trying to like listen to more stuff I've never heard of before, or like hear some new bands. I mentioned when I talked to John that I've really fallen into this Hot Mulligan kind of rabbit hole, and like they're like a younger band, and it's like a band that I would never really listen to back in the day, but I gravitate towards them a little bit now. They're good, but I've been listening to Bad Religion a shit ton. I recently threw on some Bouncing Souls, and I was like, oh yeah,
Hell
I
yeah.
love these guys. Like, so it's it's been a
Dude,
lot of fun.
I still go back and put on that Hopeless Romantic record all the time. I still like, I keep up with their releases, and like
Yeah.
I appreciate a lot of the new stuff too, but that like Hopeless Romantic record is just a fucking banger from first song side A to the last
Hmm.
song. It's just so fun. All the songs, it's just quality. That's
Yeah. And a funny story. You played a little bit with the Queers for, I don't know if I forget what album it is, but the song "See You Later, Fuckface."
I'm not on that one, but
No,
that's a great song.
it is.
Yeah.
I used to play that all the time, and my son, who's now 11, I just remember there was a day where I'm in the car and I'm listening to it, and then all of a sudden I hear my 4-year-old son at the time going, "See you later, fuck face," and I was like, "Oh god, I gotta turn it off. I gotta turn this off for a little bit." And then actually that kind of put a stint on my listening to the Queers. Haven't really listened to them much since then, but that song will
Yup.
pop on sometimes, and I'm like, "Oh shit." So,
It's like you gotta, with them, Joe has such a knack for writing like really catchy and witty like songs, and with excellent harmonies, right? That sometimes you forget that he's swearing because it
right.
just sounds like it should be. It's like, like Ramon style, where it's just like this amped up, really good written pop song, but then you're like, oh shit, he's saying like "fuck the world," like, but you just almost forget because it just sounds
Right.
so nice, and
Yeah.
then you realize when your little kid is cussing in the back seat along to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So with playing with such a variety of people and a variety of bands, would you say you've pulled like a good amount of inspiration with your solo stuff, or do you try to maybe steer away from it a little bit to kind of get your own sound?
No, I mean, I feel like I just I'm inspired by like what I like, right? And I think like I wouldn't play in a band that I didn't like. So
Right.
I'm sure there's part of that, and
Hmm.
they're all part of like a scene. Um and style of music that I just enjoyed even before I played in any random band too. So, and I just pull from whatever I like hear and feel at the time. So yeah, I don't ever try to like pigeonhole the writing and be like, oh, this isn't whatever, this isn't like pop punk, or this isn't
Right.
punk, or like if I was in a ska band and be like, this isn't ska. It's like, what? It's just, who cares? It's a good song. Like,
Yeah, as long as it sounds good.
to me, this is a good song right now. So this is what I want to play right now, and I'm proud of that. Like,
you got any songs that you listen to now that you were a part of, and you're like, ugh,
that I was a part of? Like nothing that I'm like super cringy about. Like definitely ones that I'm like, oh, I think if I was writing that now, I could probably do better, like lyrically or arrangements, or have worked with like maybe recorded like less songs in the session and gone to a better studio for like production quality,
Sure.
like, you know, things like that, like learning things. But I mean, there's definitely like tons of songs that I'm like, oh, that, you know, they can't all be great. That's like some of them are gonna be stinkers, but it's nothing that I'm like trying to like scrub from history, or like
right.
would want removed if there was ever like a reissue of a record, you know. It's
Yeah.
like, it's where I was at any given time, so it's just there. And it's the weirdest thing too, not like I have like a giant like fan base or anything, but even for the small amount of people that like my stuff, like I'll meet somebody and they'll be like, oh dude, like I really like, even I was playing guitar for Dan James. We were in Milwaukee a couple weekends ago at a club called Palmer's. I don't know if you've heard of that, which I thought was cool because that's my last name. So I was like, oh, I'm going to get a t-shirt and all this merch. They didn't have any merch. I was so bummed.
Yeah.
And then I just heard that they're closing.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah. But anyways, I was there and this guy introduced himself, and he like knew like my own stuff, my music. And he was like, yeah, dude, I really love this song. And it's a song that like I hadn't thought about forever. And I wouldn't not like keep it on the record or anything. I like it, but I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, see, that's why you just always, you never know.
Right.
Like I would have probably rated that song as like, you know, 8 out of 10, if there was 10 songs on the record, it's probably my 8th favorite one.
Yeah.
Like kind of thing, where he's like, that's the best song on the record. I listen to that one all the time. Like, and I'm just like, okay, right. You don't know. Right.
Right.
So it's, which is also kind of interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
In general, I'm sure like for bands that I love, a lot of times, you know, obviously you like the hits and you understand why that's all being played at shows, but there's always that one or two songs that could, to me, they seem like they're big songs, but they would never get played live because to me, it's the best song, but other people in the crowd probably are like, oh, I'm glad they didn't play that fucking turd.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And it's always, especially when you see bands with like massive catalogs and they don't play your favorite one, you're like, ah, damn it. But
yeah. I mean, I think there does come a point, right? If you're huge and you're spending, you know, you're charging like $60-$70 a ticket, and it's like kind of that version of an act, you kind of, I do think, are responsible to play. If you had 10 number one hits in your career, you kind of have to play them at the show. That's what people are paying for and going to see. You can maybe squeeze 1 or 2 oddballs in and like 1 or 2 new ones, but otherwise,
yeah,
I'd be pissed. Like if I went to see the Beach Boys is a hard one to say, but like, I don't know, some big band and they didn't play most of their hits.
Right.
It would be a bummer.
What would you say that one song is for you? Like what's the one Geoff Palmer song that defines?
I don't know. I mean, I probably like Many More Drugs, or all the hits. Or
I like that one.
Like people are liking some of the ones from the new EP, which is cool because it's new, but it seemed like people have definitely asked about a couple of those, so that's cool. But yeah, I think I couldn't really get away, even at my small level of band status, of not doing like probably Many More Drugs.
I like that song. That's a good song.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. I was like I said, the EP, I like all the songs. Bye Bye Baby was probably one of my favorites. I like Rubberneck as well. That's
cool.
Yeah, those ones are really fun. So anyone out there, I encourage everyone to listen to Geoff Palmer. How can they get connected with your music, see what's going on, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, any of the streaming platforms like Bandcamp, just track us down on Instagram. The issue is it's Jeff with a Geoff,
Yeah.
because otherwise people are like, later, which I would do too if someone's like, oh, check this guy like Jeff Tweedy out or something,
Yeah.
and I'd be like Jay, just like it is Jay. But if someone is like, no, dude, it's a G, I'd be like, what? Can't.
Right.
So yeah, Jeff with a G, but yeah, just it'll pop up on anything like that.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, dude.
I appreciate you coming on. How was the brewski?
It was super good. I'm definitely gonna have another one before the night's done. Yeah, this is the Dive beer. So super simple. I feel like it's Monday. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a Monday or Tuesday. Like I don't need to dive into any IPAs or anything
Sure.
like that right now. Like, do you know Carbon 4 Brewery?
I love Carbon 4. Oh yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I love the Fantasy Factories.
Yeah.
We'll get those and have them at the house sometimes. But even if I just have like two of those, I'm like the next day I'm like I probably didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
So I always like having just a regular classic, like you with the PBR right now.
Yeah.
You can have two or three of those and
yeah.
be just fine.
It actually wasn't that bad. I put it
Really?
down already. I was like, it's okay. I think my palate is becoming more refined, and or worse. Who knows? But America's favorite beer in 1893, PBR. I think that might have been the only blue ribbon they ever got, and they just ran with it. But hey,
It would be weird if we'd have to look it up because I'm sure there's somebody who'll be like, they actually did win some other one, but if they did, why would they not update it? Like, why
Right.
would you only go with the first award you won?
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure, but it
Yeah.
is a staple in Wisconsin. Pap. They got the Pabst Theater Group, all that good stuff.
Yeah, totally.
They're putting on shows and doing things. So I shouldn't poo-poo them too often, but I will say their beer has been out of my life for a long time, and maybe I'll bring it back.
There you go. Hey guys, I'll buy you a PBR next time I run into you at a show.
Hell yeah,
See
man.
how that goes.
Well, thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you having me, man. Awesome.